Special heartfelt thank you goes out to Spirit Torino for sending us the Sigfrid for review. I really do appreciate it, and it was an absolute pleasure seeing you guys at Munich High End again. This is the flagship €8,000 amplifier that has been built for their line of headphones, obviously to match the Spirit Torino Valkerya flagship headphone. The review is here. The amplifier has an enormous hefty price tag. Does it have the performance to match? First and foremost, let's do a hardware tour. As you can see, the construction of this device is absolutely immaculate. It's been designed in the same manner as an old tower PC from the 90s, and it looks gorgeous, though it does take up an enormous amount of desk space, so be careful of that. Up top here we have the vents for the heat to dissipate. They're in these little triangular shaped formation in a circle, and then we have these plexiglass sides that are screwed on with these oval shaped screws with this beautiful design on it, and obviously underneath you can see the inside of the internals of the amplifier itself. On the front we have a few switches and dials. First and foremost we have the power, then we have the inputs, and on here, correlating with the inputs at the back of the unit, which is basically XLR, RCA and RCA, we have speaker and pre as well. This is a pre-amplifier, as well as having taps out of the back in banana config for your speakers, and then high and low gain. Proceeding to the middle of the unit, on the front we have this beautiful jog wheel. This is very much designed like the Valkerya, and I think is their Pulsar. Beautiful articulation, it's metal, and it just looks utterly gorgeous. Underneath we have two 4-pin XLR balanced outputs for your headphones and a pair of 3-pin XLR outputs. Some of you like to connect your headphones that way too. This is a solid state amplifier with dual mono config, 5 watts into 32 ohms. And here's all the specs running down the screen now. Should we take a look at the back of the unit? So we have a pair of RCA inputs and another pair below that. Then the XLR inputs, this is a balanced input, then RCA out, and a pair of terminals for your speakers. Use banana connection, they're safer. On and off power switch and AC power supply down here. How does the Sigfrid sound? How does it perform in its price category? And what can it do to headphones that require oomph? This is the Madhouse Tungsten. This is Ryan's baby, a headphone he's been working on for the last 5 years at least. Ryan creates the Argons. They were hard to drive. The Tungsten are something special. They're roughly twice as hard as Susvara to drive. This variant is slightly easier now. This is the final finished product. 76 dB sensitivity and around 135 ohm. Why am I bringing Tungsten up when I just mentioned Sigfrid? Because Tungsten are a pair of headphones, incidentally, that don't require too much current, enough, but it's voltage that they require. And pretty much all amplifiers would be at the 90% limit, if not going full whack. On the Sigfrid, when it warms up, just so you get an idea of 5 watts into 32 ohms and the headroom, this amplifier uses a pair of toroidal transformers and an additional toroidal transformer for all the services that's running the amp behind the scenes. Doesn't seem to be breaking too much of a sweat. You are around 70% of the volume pot, and that's exceptional for a headphone like this. Swinging back around to how does the Sigfrid sound. This is a neutral bright amplifier with a very lush warm mid-range. So what tends to happen with its frequency response is that you find the upper mid-range is a little bit more forward than something like the Bliss from HoloAudio, and its treble region is very extended, very detailed, very big stage. Not only does it power speakers, but it actually performs like a power amp. Because innately in its characteristics, its dual mono design, it's been made to power speakers. But unlike some, where headphones is a second addition, but on this, headphones is its primary objective. And because the amplifier has been tuned predominantly for the Spirit Torino line of headphones, including Valkerya, it's not a neutral amp, but it's highly engaging, extremely detailed, wonderful mid-range, and certainly moves with the DAC in regards to its performance. If you put a cheap DAC on it, it will show you what that DAC's doing. If you put Aperio on it, like we are doing now, it will show you what Aperio DAC sounds like. And using Tungsten as the test subject for this amplifier's performance, sub-bass digs lower than low. Definitely cruising around 25-30 Hz, absolutely no problem on Tungstens. Sustaining that through every part of the melody without any problems. So EDM, rock, metal, classical, you're good to go. And that lush mid-range tends to be a very good synergy with the Tungsten. In fact, I think it's been my favorite setup at the moment for these very hard to drive headphones. The performance is definitely in the $3,000, $3,500 category, and I'm blown away. These are $1,600. It's a paradigm shift of an headphone. And that's what Tungsten can do. But behind Tungsten is Sigfrid. And what Sigfrid can do is power any headphones on the planet without any problems. You need to let it warm up. It needs to be on for about an hour, and it can drive anything. As long as it's balanced, you've got a pair of 3-pin XLRs and 2 pairs of 4-pin XLRs. Overly sensitive headphones, such as Utopia, I found, had a background hum. But this is a demo unit that's been around the world more than once, so please take it with a small pinch of salt. This unit has been battered about and is not the stock brand new unit. The next headphone I've been using is this. This is the AB1266TC, another hard to drive headphone, 50 ohm, 88 dB sensitivity. And it's driven it on a solid state performance so well. I think the only amplifier I've heard beat the Sigfrid has been the Head Trip. Check out the review here. Sub-bass is articulate, visceral, texturally rich, most importantly, incisive and sustaining the notes without fail. Mid-bass is punchy, visceral, giving a speaker-like presentation to headphones that can resolve it this way. Very impactful. This amplifier does not sound thin, shrill, or overly fatiguing. It's got a nice lush warmness to the mid-range, where electric guitars truly shine. Listening to Creed, Avenged Sevenfold, Catatonia brings those electric guitars to life, and the stage opens up vast in front of you. It's a definite 180-degree soundscape, but it's colorless in its bass region and transparent in its treble region, but warm in the mid-range. I genuinely prefer Sigfrid over Bliss, outright. Bliss is more versatile. You can run IEMs on it, all the way up to Susvaras and Tungsten. They're both huge, they both run hot, so they've got a lot in common, but Bliss is less than half the price, bear that in mind. But for power and control of drivers and headroom, Sigfrid is the way to go. If you've got room to put something that huge on a desk, it's 14 kilograms. I find the volume pot very, very tactile, smooth, and very satisfying with fantastic granularity when it's increasing the volume. For non-sensitive headphones, I don't feel as though the amp struggles with anything. I don't think it's as incisive as capturing the driver as the HM1, check out the review here, but I think it's just as resolving, and most importantly, it's non-fatiguing the way that amplifier is. That amplifier can sound a bit thin at times, which is something that I disliked about it. It's a bit too referenced, too neutral, but Sigfrid is more musical. It actually has a nicer, blacker background when you use an equivalent quality DAC. I would take it over the Bliss and I would take it over the HM1. Not for features though. HM1's features I love to this day. So I've been running Susvara's 1266, Tungsten, Utopia, and a variety of other headphones, including the MeAudio Elite Tungsten. And I've never felt as though the amplifier was actually lacking in anything, in any areas. It's been a consistent beast. There are some caveats though. Some of the caveats for me is the size. This thing is 14 kilograms, fine. But the way it sits, like an old PC sort of style, beautiful, just takes up too much space. And I feel like I would be killed by the audiophile police if I was to stick this under the desk and hide it, because it's nice looking. That is one caveat. The second one being I can't run IEMs and stuff on it. It's too powerful and you do get some noise floor for IEMs. It was never intended to be used for IEMs, but when you're a reviewer and you review a variety of equipment, you want something that's boundless. That's where Bliss and HM1 comes in. Those two can go from anywhere from IEMs to Susvaras without any problems. And these days, Tungsten, due to its drivability. It's an incredible headphone amp, fantastic pre, and I've unfortunately not had the opportunity to drive it with passive speakers yet. But when I do that, I will update the review and do a re-review down the line. For now, we've been testing it exclusively with headphones. So the size is one caveat. I never put price as a caveat because it's so subjective from person to person. Slight noise floor, obviously, for very sensitive headphones. So bear in mind, depending on what headphones you have, you might consider this not a good fit for your setup. But if you have Valkerya, I think this would be a nice setup too. In conclusion, Sigfrid at the moment is one of my favorite under $10,000 amplifiers, period. Surpassing Bliss for technicality for me, personally. I think it has a more visceral impact in the sub bass, and I think it retrieves detail better, and I think the pot is actually better in the amplification section. In conclusion, should you buy Sigfrid? I think it should be worthy of your consideration without a doubt. It's conducive to a variety of genres, including EDM, rock, metal, classical, jazz, without any problems. It covers all bases when it comes to hard to drive headphones. So build quality for this amplifier, 5 tigers out of 5. Sound quality, 4 tigers out of 5. Functionality, I will have to give it a 3 here, because for IEM and sensitive headphones, I found there was a noise floor. The way the 23R and some of the other amplifiers have had that are overly powerful. Even Head Trip from Wells Audio could not run IEMs successfully. It was too powerful. Noise floor was prominent. And if you like reviews such as these, consider joining Patreon, where early reviews are dropped, you get access to the private Telegram chat, and we get to talk in person in regards to equipment coming in for review. I would like to extend another massive shout out to Spirit Torino for this incredible opportunity to review their gorgeous Sigfrid amplifier. It's a fantastic amp, especially for hard to drive headphones. Limitless and boundless. Until the next time, peace.